The rain came down hard that morning, sheets of silver striking the runway like a war drum. The storm clouds rolled heavy over the naval base, matching the tension that thickened the air. A single duffel bag dropped at her boots, mud splashing across the name stenciled in bold letters. She didn't flinch. She had seen worse. But when the Admiral turned his back and the heavy gates clanged shut, the sound echoed louder than any explosion she had ever survived. She had been dismissed, stripped of the honor she had bled for, and cast out without explanation. For a woman who had spent years serving her country from the skies, it was more than rejection, it was exile. Before we dive further into this emotional journey, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and stories that reveal the hidden strength of the human spirit, please take a moment to like this video, share it with friends, and subscribe to Legends of History. Your support helps keep these powerful stories alive. She had once been the shining star of the skies, her hands steady on the controls of an F-22 Raptor, her call sign whispered with a mix of respect and mystery across bases. But the military is unforgiving, and when whispers turn into paperwork, when shadows of old grief return, even the strongest can be torn down. She walked away that day with no medals on her chest, no wings pinned to her uniform, only the silent rage of someone who had been betrayed by the very system she swore to defend. The days that followed were not glamorous. She traded the roar of jet engines for silence, the structured cadence of drills for restless nights staring at ceilings. The world outside the base did not understand the scars she carried, the phantom weight of a helmet no longer hers, the empty hum of skies she could no longer claim. To her neighbors, she was just another quiet woman with olive skin, dark hair tied back in a rough ponytail, eyes that seemed too old for her age. But to herself, she was trapped between two worlds, the one she had lost and the one she couldn't yet find. What no one knew was that the base still carried her shadow. SEALs whispered her name in corridors, pilots glanced at her old locker, her presence lingering like smoke long after a fire. She was a legend no one was allowed to speak of, a ghost written out of records but etched into memory. Her call sign was spoken with a weight that silenced even the most hardened warriors. The Admiral thought he had erased her, thought he had shut her out for good. Yet fate is not so easily controlled. The chance of one encounter, one unexpected twist, was about to unravel everything. It happened on a day that should have been routine. A group of Navy SEALs stood at attention, their formation sharp, their discipline unbreakable. The Admiral walked among them, his polished shoes reflecting the pride he carried in his command. Yet when a familiar figure stepped through the crowd, carrying nothing but a folded jacket and a face half hidden beneath a cap, the entire line of SEALs faltered. One by one, shoulders stiffened, jaws clenched, and eyes widened, not out of anger, but recognition. And then it came, the moment that turned silence into history. Someone whispered her F-22 call sign. It slipped from lips like a prayer, like something too sacred to speak aloud. And as if bound by unspoken oath, every SEAL in that courtyard straightened and saluted. Not to the Admiral, not to their commanding officer, but to her. The Admiral froze. He knew the name, he knew the call sign, and he knew the story behind it. He had buried it once, pushed it away, convinced himself it would never resurface. Yet here it was, alive, stronger than before, commanding more loyalty than he had ever earned with his rank. In that instant, the weight of his decision crushed him. He had kicked her off base, stripped her of honor, but he could not strip her of the respect she had carved with her own blood and courage. She stood there, still, humbled by the sight, her throat tight with the storm of emotions she had fought for years. She had no medals to show, no titles to claim, but she had something the Admiral never would, the unwavering devotion of the very warriors who knew the truth of sacrifice. Her story was one of pain and redemption, of being broken down only to rise stronger than before. She had flown missions no one spoke of, saved lives no one counted, and carried losses too heavy for any record to hold. The SEALs knew. They had fought beside her, seen her fire, witnessed her shield others from death's reach. And when the world cast her aside, they remembered. That was why they saluted. Not out of duty, but out of love, respect, and eternal gratitude. The Admiral's voice faltered when he finally spoke. His authority felt hollow, his polished shoes sinking in the weight of his own mistakes. He realized he had expelled not just a soldier, but a soul whose light had guided others through the darkest skies. No order, no punishment, no dismissal could erase the legacy she had carved. The courtyard stood still, the storm above parting as sunlight broke through, casting her in gold. She did not return the salute, she didn't need to. She simply stood, tears unspoken in her eyes, the strength of her spirit enough to silence the world around her. Her exile had ended not with apology, but with truth revealed. And in that truth, every soldier, every SEAL, every heart present knew that she was not gone. She was eternal, her call sign forever etched in the history of those who fight and never forget. And so, from that day on, whenever her name was spoken, it was not in whispers of scandal or shame, but in reverence. She had been broken, discarded, abandoned, but she rose above it all, her courage binding her to every brother in arms who knew what it meant to truly serve. Viewers, if this story touched your heart, if it reminded you of the power of respect, redemption, and the unshakable spirit of those who rise even after being cast aside, I ask you to like this video, share it with others who need to hear it, and subscribe to Legends of History. Your voice keeps these stories alive, your engagement helps their echoes reach far beyond these words. And before we end, I leave you with a special request: comment below with one word: respect. Because some legacies deserve nothing less.